Hi, welcome back to Table Talk. We're ready for our second segment. Here we have Mr. Tim Howk, and you are with the Pentecostals of McMinnville. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You have a lot going on and some exciting things coming up during this Christmas season. We've heard of live nativities, but it seems like the event you all are having takes it a little step further. So tell us about that.
Well, we have a live nativity. Just with interactive with Mary and Joseph and the nativity scene. But what we're trying to do this year is have maybe a block or a street as what it would look like in Bethlehem in the first century. You can't. They were sending out warnings. Now you can't even go to Bethlehem right now, and the thought of being there at the time when Mary and Joseph were there, we've kind of taken a page out of a book and said, this is what we want to do. We want to have an interaction where people can not only hear the story and see the story in a congregation setting, but be able to interact and walk through and see what it would be like in the first century in Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you're going to set up kind of like a marketplace. There's going to be merchants, I guess, and they'll be dressed as they were dressed back in the day, and the people that attend the event can kind of interact with them.
They're going to have period clothing, of course, and like I said, it's going to be like a block, what it would be like in Bethlehem, and they're going to be able to smell what the smells would be like and hear the sounds. We've got overhead music playing, maybe Hebrew music, and the sounds of what it would actually have been like if you were there. And they'll be able not only to hear the stories, but interact with people and see what does frankincense look like, what is a mustard seed, what does an olive tree look like, what kind of trees were in Bethlehem, did they have this or that, and maybe stimulate a conversation on the way home. Mom, Dad, what was that like? And it'll actually create a memory.
Yeah.
Somebody will say that I didn't just see a play, I was a part of it. I got involved in it. And children love to do that.
Oh,
They love to play, act, and they can actually be a part of the story.
Well, and that's something we're not exposed to here, as you said. You almost kind of have to go. And Bethlehem itself, the whole area, isn't what it was back then, but
Right.
You're recreating it, kind of going back in time.
Right.
So they'll, be dressed in their clothes and things like that. Will there be performances and music or anything like that going on during the days?
Well, we probably won't have actual Christmas songs and Christmas
Right.
carols. We'll do that on Sunday morning during Sunday service or Wednesday service that we have. But we're going to have live animals there. We're going to have a camel and sheep and people interacting with camel. Now, around here we know about animals and how to interact with cattle, but I'm not sure exactly how you're going to interact with a camel. I'm quite certain there's going to be a performance there. I don't know what to expect. And being at a Pentecostal church and having you want to be in an area where you don't know what to expect next. And I don't know what's going to happen. You're just going to have to come and see it.
Well, we hope he doesn't do any spitting or anything like that. I've never been around a camel very much, but at all, I don't think. But that'll be interesting for the kids to
It'd
see.
be a story they would never forget.
How large they are and things like that. Yes.
Yeah, somebody actually asked me, they said, are we going to get to ride the camel? And I said, hey, the camel's 6 foot tall. They're going to be in the dark. And I can almost hear the insurance people biting their nails when they do that. So they're probably going to ride it. But
Now, all of these events are going to be in the, because you all are located in the old or the former North Side School, so most people around here know that. But it's all kind of indoors, so it won't matter about the weather, will it?
No, it's going to be inside the gym, and we're going to have it's be like a marketplace, vendors set up in there. No selling anything. It'll be like what you would see when you walk down a street in Bethlehem, but it's going to be inside the old North Side School in the gym.
Right, so it won't matter if it's yucky weather outside or
Rain or
anything
shine,
like that. You all are going to be there.
Right.
So I guess this sounds like it was probably a major undertaking. What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about being able to tell a story. I love to tell stories. I love to hear a story. It's better than being on YouTube or watching it or just hearing somebody tell it, when you can actually look at somebody's eyes and tell them this is what it was like. Because I think it's Franco Zeffirelli made the film and said, this is the greatest story ever told. And I believe that it was the greatest story ever told. It's a story about a carpenter, an ordinary carpenter, who one day, because of his faith, went on a journey of a lifetime. And because of his faith, he saw the face of the Savior. It's a story about shepherds who were working the second shift one night, one ordinary night. And then they realized something, that God was not very far from them, but he was in a place where they could actually find him. Mm-hmm. It's a story about a man who didn't say, I've found the truth, or I can tell you about the way. He said, I am the truth. I am the way. Mm-hmm. And to be able to look into a child's eyes and tell them that story and see that wonder and amazement when they know about frankincense and myrrh and learn all this other stuff that goes along with it, that just excites me to hear about.
Well, and what a great way to kind of put away the commercialism that has happened with Christmas and teach them about why we give gifts and things of that nature, and bring it back as we should, away
Absolutely.
from all of the shopping and the pressure and things like that. It should be a time of celebration, but not of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't think about it that way. It is a wonderful story, and so many kids these days aren't really exposed to that part of it. You know, they are exposed to the commercialism and things like that of it, but to bring it back, that's very good to expose them to all of that.
Right.
So it sounds like your whole church has probably helped with this. What has it been like organizing such a large event?
Well, it actually doesn't seem like it's that overwhelming, but I guess if you look back, you think if it's one or two people were doing it, it would be. Mm-hmm. But if everybody pitches in and says, I can do this and I can do this, and it's not like a chore, it's more like it's fun to do. And when it stops being fun, you don't need to do it anymore.
Right.
But it actually is a lot of fun to do this, because people are just jumping in and knowing what they can do and doing all that they know how to do and putting themselves into it, and they're a joy to be around when they do it. If at 3 o'clock in the morning you say, where's the frankincense? You hear a voice coming from another room saying, it's between the violin strings and the harp on the nightstand. And I thought, well, I guess that's where you put frankincense. That's just the adventure that you have as part of putting it all together.
And making it look like it was back in the day as much as you can, and things like that. And
Right.
everybody playing a part and learning their role and what their job is and stuff. I'm sure. So you all have been located in the school now since January, you said?
I think we moved there last January.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your services and if you want to, of course, well, first let's talk about the event, I guess, when it is and who all's invited to it.
It's the 15th and the 16th of December. Mm-hmm. It will be between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. That's when. Mm-hmm. And I thought about who was invited. It sounds like a platitude or a cliche to say everyone's invited. Yeah. But I mean, it's just like, come one, come all. It's the greatest event since the fall of Rome. This is what I think I heard a quote say. Try to promote it and say that it's going to be a really good time.
Well, and it's not just for members of your congregation.
Absolutely.
You want everyone to come and experience this.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, and okay, so let's go back to your normal worship times and things like that. I'm sure you all have regular, times where you're worshiping, and then, you may want to invite the public to come to that too.
Sure. It's 10:30 on Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. We're there for prayer on 10:30 on Sunday morning. And on Wednesday nights, we're there at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
It's the only two services we have per week, and we have a prayer meeting maybe once a month on Mondays nights at the church there.
And do you all have like classes for youth and things like that yet?
We have youth classes on Sunday morning, and twice a month we have a youth class on Wednesday night for the children as well.
Okay. So you all are really, I'm sure you're hoping, that's a huge building over there. You guys want to fill it up with people coming to the event, don't you?
Absolutely. It's room for 400 people in the sanctuary there, so yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, as you said, 15th and 16th, is that
15th
right?
and the 16th of December.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds, we talked to Miriam Crawford earlier about the Nativity Festival, and then this is where you can go and experience it and feel it. You've got the Nativity, but also it's like walking the streets of Bethlehem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you, Tim. Appreciate you coming on the show. And I'll say thank you to our audience for joining us. We hope you found out about some wonderful things to do this holiday season. Come back again next week for more Table Talk.